Well, I thought that I would do a video on this DVD set right here, Shoah, a film by Claude Lanzmann. I'm gonna talk about the movie a little bit first, and then I'm gonna show you the actual the box set, how it looks, and how it's packaged and everything. So basically, this Shoah, first of all, translates to, I believe it means Holocaust in Hebrew, which is suitable, I suppose, because it's about World War II. It's a documentary about World War II. And it's an approximately a 9-hour long documentary about the war, and entirely without archival footage. There's not a single frame of archival footage or no pictures. Instead, it completely relies on witnesses, their first-hand accounts and experiences, and they're very detailed descriptions of their experiences. And this is also something which I believe that Claude Lanzmann, who made the film obviously, was very sort of strict about. He finds importance in small details, which, he asks questions which to some people might not be of interest or of importance to the whole thing. But I believe this is something which the film has gotten a lot of sort of praise for, and success perhaps, that they're long, the witnesses and survivors' accounts, they're long, detailed talks or of their experiences, add to an overall better understanding of things, what happened. And usually while you listen to them talk about their experiences, you're also shown sort of long takes of handheld camera footage of how the places look today that they talk about. There are visits to Holocaust sites, including 3 extermination camps, among other places, and which the survivors talk about. So the way this is put together is seemingly very simple, but at the same time it's done with great precision, if you ask me, and it's very very fascinating to watch. Although it's obviously a horrible subject, but it's still fascinating and interesting. And some have experienced, some of these people who are interviewed by Claude Lanzmann have experienced the horrors of the extermination camps, but they managed to escape being Jewish prisoners. And some might have had, I don't know, a bit more distanced relation to the war, but nonetheless tragic. Nonetheless, who have tragic things to share, I guess. And some might only have been witnesses and who perhaps weren't affected in the same way as others. And there are also hidden camera footage of people who would only agree to have their voice recorded, who were perhaps ex-Nazis, or maybe forced to do some of the things they did, but they don't want to have their face on there, but they're on there anyway because they filmed it secretly. And most of the survivors or witnesses, they're being interviewed in a sort of typical fashion, but some of the interviews are sort of on the spot or on location, and the people who are being interviewed, or they might show Claude Lanzmann certain things, where things were located back then in the 30s and 40s, and how it looked, giving the viewer sort of more of an insight in the whole thing. And other times it's like I mentioned, these places are shown while the interview recorded at a different occasion is being played, also adding to the experience for the viewer. But I mentioned that before a little bit. And Lanzmann, he is French, but he also speaks English and German with the interviewees, I guess, when needed. Although since people of several ethnic groups or from several countries are interviewed, he also regularly has to rely on translators. So there are a lot of subtitles in this. But I think if you want to watch a 9-hour documentary, did I say that? It's 9 hours long. I apologize if I didn't, but if someone wants to watch a 9-hour documentary on of the Holocaust without archival footage, I think they're fine with subtitles. Anyway, and also I could mention that a few interviews with at least one historian. There are a few interviews or a few clips with one historian who can give some information about other things. But I'm glad that the interviews are to a very large extent based on the witnesses, you know, their experiences, and not the historians, what they have to say. But having one of them talk once in a while felt like a good choice to me. He, among other things, is able to provide an insight in how they worked the railway, you know, the transportation of these hundreds of thousands of Jews to the camps, or millions maybe, I'm not sure how many were transported in those sort of cattle trucks. I believe like 6 million Jews died, but I don't know how many were actually transported in these horrible conditions to the camps. But yeah, so they go through that a little bit. I guess that's what I had to say. So let's maybe I'll add something more in a little bit, but let's show the packaging. So you've seen the cover here for a while now, and then on the spine here you have the pictures of the people who were interviewed. I can't say for sure if these are all of them or if these are just most of them, or I'm not sure. It seems like it could be all of them, but I'm not sure. And then you have the back here, and I think you should be able to pause and read this if you're interested. You can see up here it says 550 minutes. No special features on this, except for of course you can count this as a special feature, but I don't think many people would necessarily say that it's a special feature, but it is a book. It's not even a booklet. It's, you know, a proper book, 180 pages or something. And I have not read this. Perhaps I should. Maybe we'll give some further insight into the movie or the war and everything. But yeah, so you have that, and then you have the DVDs here. So let's see, you have 2 keep cases here of, it says one, this is a long movie, but of course due to its length it has to be divided onto several discs. So First Era Part 1, and you have different images of the people who I assume are in these different parts. So, and you have the Auschwitz here, I think, in the back. So you have the disc there, and then you have, these are also a slightly different blue-greenish color, which as you can see, they're not exactly the same nuance or whatever. There you have the First Era Part 2, and then Second Era Parts 3 and 4. I'm not sure why they did this. They might as well made the packaging a little bit smaller and done the same thing with these two like they did with this. Just have one and have First Era 1 plus 2 and have the disc like this, just like they put them here. And it is a really nice touch. You can see here pretty clearly that the colors are differently. That just adds to the somehow to the value of this for a DVD collector like myself. It's just nice when they put a little bit more effort into the release. Otherwise it's a pretty standard release with the, you know, sturdy slipcase here, or you know, and 3 keep cases, and again a very generous booklet. Yeah. Oh, this is not the easiest to get in. Whatever. Actually, on the cover here, I first thought that this was Claude Lanzmann before I had seen the movie, when I had only heard about it and when it sparked my interest, you know. I thought that this was him, but you know, it's not, because Lanzmann, he's still alive and active today, fairly well. I don't know, but he's alive anyway. although old, he's like approaching 90, I think. And this film was made over an 11-year period in the 70s and 80s. I think it was released in the early 80s. I don't know if it says the year here, but no, I don't think it does. So obviously this man right here can't be alive today if this was in the 70s or 80s. But yeah, I think this is, it says Treblinka here, which was one of the extermination camps, and if I'm not mistaken, he was the train driver for, you know, for the transportation of Jews to Treblinka. Don't take my word on it, but well, I guess that's what I had to say about this movie and this box set. So if you're interested in this, I think you should watch it, because it's very informative and very rewarding, very interesting, very good, and yeah, it's a bit of a challenge to watch 9 hours of it, because in a way not much happens, but it's very interesting still, very well made, and I think I read that the editing took 4 years. They edited, I think it's like in the ending credits or something, like by Claude Lanzmann. I would like to thank whatever the name was, who was with me side by side every day for 4 years in the editing process. And like 4 years to edit this. It seems, as I said, seems very simple, the editing, but I think it's maybe a little, well, I think it was pretty meticulously edited and put together, and if you think about it, it kind of shows actually. But on first glance, it's all very simple. Long takes, long sequences, and yeah. Anyway, yeah. All right. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you you know, found out a little bit more about the film that you didn't know, or hopefully you got interested in watching it, because I think it's great, and I would recommend you to watch it. So, all right. This box set, I believe, is still available. So, yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching.